My beloved child, stay exactly where you are. This is not a coincidence. Heaven scheduled this moment because truth is unfolding in your favor. What they whispered in darkness has now met the light, and the same mouths that mocked you are trembling in silence. Don't scroll. Every second of this message is a piece of what God has been preparing behind the scenes. You've endured rooms filled with fake smiles, conversations that shifted the moment you left, laughter that wasn't laughter. It was venom disguised as humor. You felt it, didn't you? That quiet sting that came after every gathering, that sense that your name was used as entertainment. But hear this, God saw every smirk, every lie, and every word meant to reduce you. They thought gossip would bury you. Heaven turned it into fertilizer. You were not being humiliated. You were being planted. Stay with me, because this part matters. While they spread stories, you kept silent. You chose peace over proof, dignity over drama. That silence wasn't weakness. It was divine restraint. And now God says, I am reversing the sound. The very mouths that spoke against you will be the ones speaking about your breakthrough. Type blessed and ready in the comments if you can feel this word touching your spirit right now. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Unneeded Echo, because what God is revealing here will continue to meet you right when you need it. Listen carefully. The gossipers had meetings about you, but heaven had a council concerning you. They sat in corners, you sat in prayer. They discussed your downfall. Heaven discussed your destiny. And when the two voices met, only one could stand. Child of God, this is your vindication season. The same people who used to say, "Who does she think she is?" are now saying, "How did she get here?" They can't explain it, because what God is doing in your life isn't logical, it's supernatural. They expected to see you break, instead they're witnessing your elevation. Don't move. Let this truth sink in. You never needed to defend yourself, because God was keeping receipts. Every false story, every twisted narrative, He archived them for this exact moment. Now He's pressing play on vindication. Hear this clearly. You didn't lose friends, you lost informants. You didn't lose favor, you lost distraction. You didn't lose reputation, you lost limitation. The exposure has already begun. Those who gossiped about you are now whispering a new sentence. I can't believe it. They can't believe the doors opening for you. They can't believe the peace you walk in. They can't believe how God is still blessing you despite the poison they poured. Beloved, you are living proof that no lie can outlive truth. They wrote chapters about you in fiction, but God is publishing your reality in favor. Every attempt to make you look small became the reason God made you stand taller. They called you forgotten. Heaven called you chosen. Stay right here, because this next part is where heaven speaks directly into your timeline. There was a moment when you almost confronted them. You almost said, I know what you said about me. But the Spirit pulled you back and whispered, let me handle it. Now you understand why. Because if you had defended yourself then, you would have been fighting beneath your calling. Instead, your patience became a weapon. God says, I have turned their gossip into gospel, the testimony of what I can do when my child refuses to respond in flesh. Every insult became evidence. Every rumor became fuel. Every lie became leverage. What they meant for humiliation has become your holy elevation. Do you feel that shift inside? That's peace replacing bitterness. That's grace replacing revenge. That's victory replacing victimhood. Now listen, the people who gossiped about you are silent not because they changed, but because God exposed the truth without you saying a word. One by one, they're realizing the power of divine reversal. The job they said you'd never get, you got it. The healing they said you'd never see, you walked in it. The relationship they said would destroy you, you outgrew it. And now the silence in their circle is the sound of their shock. This is how God works. He doesn't humiliate your enemies, He educates them. He lets them see that the one they mocked carries His mark. He makes them watch your restoration as their own lesson in reverence. Beloved, lean in closer. You are stepping into a season where your name will travel farther than their noise. Your success will speak louder than their rumors. And your peace will irritate every spirit that once tried to disturb it. The tables have turned. The same people who gathered information about you will now gather inspiration from you. They'll replay your posts, your progress, your presence, and realize you became everything they said you couldn't. Don't let pride speak now, let praise do it, because this victory isn't random, it's reward. God is saying, I told you to stay still so that when I move, no one could deny it was me. You are not forgotten, you are favored. Type I receive it if you feel that confirmation in your chest right now. And don't forget, like this video and subscribe to Anointed Echo so you never miss when heaven releases another word in your direction. Now breathe, because this next part cuts deeper. Some of the people who gossiped about you were not strangers, they were people you trusted, even prayed for. You loved them openly, they wounded you quietly. But God says, don't curse them, thank them, because their betrayal revealed what purity looks like in contrast. Without their deception, you would never have learned discernment. There's a power that comes from being misunderstood. It teaches you how to walk alone without shrinking. It teaches you that peace is not the absence of enemies, it's the presence of purpose. Heaven saw the moment they used your name for gossip. The angels heard every careless word, and the same heavens they mocked you under are now writing your vindication across the sky. You think your blessings are random? No, they are public apologies written by God. Each open door is His way of saying, I heard what they said, and I chose to bless you louder. Child of light, you are entering your evidence era, where the proof of God's hand on your life will silence every critic. No argument, no rumor, no manipulation will survive this level of glory. The gossipers are quiet because grace exposed their ignorance. They expected to see you broken. Instead, they're seeing you built. They tried to define your ending, but God rewrote your introduction. Stay tuned, because we're only halfway through what heaven is declaring over you. Listen, beloved. The very ones who once called you too much are now studying how you carry yourself with so much grace. The ones who said they'll never make it are now pretending they always believed in you. The same mouths that spread lies are now speechless because favor has made them mute. God says, I have prepared a table for you, and they will watch, not out of punishment, but revelation. Because I am using your life as a mirror to show them what happens when a heart stays pure in the middle of persecution. Don't move. Let this part settle in your spirit. The gossip was not your downfall, it was your launch pad. When they spoke about you, they unknowingly announced your next level. Their conversation became your advertisement. What they meant for character assassination, heaven turned into divine promotion. My child, there's a reason the attacks increased right before your breakthrough. It's because hell recognized your value before you did. Demons whisper to weak minds, and those minds turned into mouths that gossiped. They became tools, unknowingly used by darkness to delay your confidence. But even that failed. Because what God anoints, no gossip can destroy. You see, gossip is a seed of fear. People talk about what they can't control. They mocked your calling because they couldn't handle your glow. They twisted your story because they were never meant to understand it. And the moment you stopped chasing validation, heaven started chasing you with elevation. This is why God kept you silent. He didn't let you clap back. He didn't let you expose them. He didn't even let you defend yourself. Because if you had fought back then, the story would have been about revenge, not redemption. And now look at you, still standing, still glowing, still chosen. Your peace is confusing people who expected you to fold. Your joy is irritating those who thought they broke you. And your blessings are preaching louder than your words ever could. They don't understand how you're still kind after all the betrayal, how you still smile after being misunderstood, how you still love after being lied on. But they don't need to understand, because your assignment is obedience, not explanation. Type "I'm still standing" in the comments if you know this is your word. And don't forget, like this video and subscribe to Ano and Echo to stay connected with every divine revelation released in your direction. Now hear this prophetic line clearly. God says, the same people who gossiped about you will come back needing your help. Not because they deserve it, but because grace will use you to teach them humility. Don't harden your heart when it happens. Because what's about to unfold will reveal the difference between vengeance and vindication. They said your name casually, but now they speak it carefully. They once called you too spiritual, now they call you anointed. They once said you were trying too hard, now they ask how you did it. That's what favor does. It silences gossip through undeniable evidence. Beloved, this silence is sacred. Don't disturb it by revisiting old wounds. Don't go back trying to prove your point. You don't need to post your progress to be validated. Your results will do the talking. The same mouths that lied will soon testify. Surely the hand of God is on this one. Let's go deeper. The reason gossip hurts so much is because it attacks identity. It tries to make you doubt your worth, your purity, your purpose. But child, that's exactly why heaven allowed it, to refine your confidence not in man but in God. The lies made you run to Him. The rejection made you pray harder. The mockery made you mature faster. And now your spiritual armor is unbreakable. God says, I let them talk because I needed you to stop needing their approval. And when you finally stopped explaining yourself, heaven started elevating you. Don't skip this next line. It's your confirmation. They gossiped in groups. You grew in silence. They looked for attention. You built endurance. They wanted to trend. You wanted transformation. Now look at the scoreboard. Your consistency has become their conviction. The tables didn't just turn, they flipped in your favor. Every story they told was built on sand. Your truth was built on rock. And while their words scattered in the wind, your name is now being spoken in rooms your feet haven't even entered yet. Yes, God says, I am sending your name to places where gossip can't reach. New connections, new opportunities, new levels of influence. All are being positioned right now. They can't block it, can't curse it, can't compete with it. Because this season, your success is spiritual, not situational. So stop worrying about who's talking. Some people need your name in their mouth just to feel relevant. Let them talk. Heaven is tracking every word and turning it into a harvest. Every rumor they started will fund a blessing they can't touch. Child, I need you to hear this with spiritual ears. There are people right now replaying the same gossip they once started, but now they speak it with regret, saying, maybe we were wrong about them. Because your light is undeniable, your peace is unexplainable, and your rise is unstoppable. This is divine reversal, and it's happening now. You've been in hiding, but not because you were forgotten. You were being polished, you were being prepared. God shielded you while He strengthened you. And now you're about to walk into a room where the very people who dismissed you will be forced to acknowledge your difference. They will say, something about them changed, and you'll smile, because you'll know it wasn't change, it was growth. You didn't become someone new, you just became who you were meant to be all along. So don't explain your glow, don't downplay your elevation. You've paid for this peace with sleepless nights, tears and prayers that no one saw. This victory is sacred, protect it. God says, you are the evidence that I restore reputations without rebuttals. That's why the gossipers are shocked, because their lies couldn't stick to what I anointed. You don't need to call them out, I already called them off. Their words lost power the moment you forgave them. And now their silence is not coincidence, it's consequence. Heaven muted them because the assignment is complete. Do you understand now? You were not being ignored, you were being insulated. You were not being overlooked, you were being overshadowed by grace. You were not being gossiped about, You were being groomed for greatness. And this is the proof. They can't mention your name without feeling conviction. Because somewhere deep inside they know they mishandled someone chosen. That's why they scroll your page quietly now. They watch your progress but can't comment. They hear your name in conversations but can't respond, because silence is the new sound of conviction. My child, rejoice in this stillness, because what you thought was isolation was actually graduation. You've completed the course of endurance, you've passed the test of silence. And now God is saying, step forward, the stage is yours. The story has shifted. You are no longer the one being spoken about, you are the one being spoken of. You are no longer the lesson, you are the testimony. You are no longer their topic, you are heaven's headline. Listen, this is not the end of your restoration, this is just the unveiling. More blessings are lining up, more divine connections are forming, more vindication is coming publicly. Because when God silences your critics, He amplifies your calling. Stay right here. Don't forget to like this video if this word is confirming something in your spirit, and subscribe to Anointed Echo so you don't miss what heaven releases next. Type blessed and ready in the comments to seal this prophetic word over your life. Beloved child, hear me. The storm they caused has settled, but the silence that follows is divine. This silence is not emptiness. It's evidence that heaven has completed the exposure. Evidence that every whisper that once echoed against your name now echoes in their own conscience. Those who laughed in private now tremble in private. Those who mocked your faith are now watching it manifest in real time. They said you were too spiritual, but now they come secretly asking you for prayer. They said you were too emotional, but now they realize your discernment wasn't emotion. It was revelation. Let this truth sink in. What they gossiped about was the very thing God was using to bless you. They thought your struggle was your punishment, not realizing it was your preparation. They thought your delay was proof of failure, not knowing it was heaven's strategy to protect what was sacred. Child, God hid you when they mocked you because exposure before preparation creates miscarriage. And now that you are ready, the same people who once spread rumors will witness results. They will see with their own eyes that you were never the victim of gossip. You were the vessel of glory. Don't scroll. This is where heaven begins to speak through the evidence of your transformation. You will notice something. The people who once had so much to say now have nothing. Their silence isn't peace, it's paralysis. They don't know how to approach you anymore because the version of you they created in gossip no longer exists. They built a character in their imagination, but now they're forced to confront the truth. You outgrew their lies. And here's what God says about them. Do not despise them, for I am using your elevation to humble them. They will learn that gossip is a seed that always grows back toward the sower. They will taste what they planted, not to destroy them, but to correct them. You, however, must rise differently. Don't gloat. Don't flex. Don't respond. Because your silence now carries the power your words once begged for. You don't need to prove anything. Your peace is proof. Your glow is proof. Your favor is proof. You see, gossip dies when truth lives loudly, and your life has become too loud for their lies to survive. That's why they can't look you in the eye anymore. Your presence reminds them of the power of purity. Listen carefully. The same God who allowed you to be the subject of gossip is the same God who has now made you the symbol of grace. You were never being disrespected, you were being displayed. Displayed as a testimony that those who stay kind in cruelty will always reign in clarity. Do you see the shift now? People used to say, "You think you're better than us." Now they say, "How did you become so peaceful?" The ones who competed with you are now comparing themselves to you in private. They can't replicate your results because your success wasn't man-made, it was God-breathed. Every blessing you carry now carries a story they once mocked but now respect. When they see you walking confidently, they remember the words they once used against you. When they hear your name being celebrated, they remember the day they tried to bury it. When they scroll through your progress, they remember how they doubted you. And all they can do now is watch, silently. Because grace made a scene that gossip can't interrupt. Beloved, God says this next season isn't about revenge, it's about revelation. He's revealing who was truly for you, who was merely curious, and who was always against you. And He's removing the need for closure because He's giving you clarity. You no longer need to ask, why did they say that, or what did I do wrong? Because the truth is, you were simply shining in a space where they were still hiding. Your light didn't offend them, it exposed them. That's why you had to go through isolation. That's why God separated you from their circle. Because elevation requires evacuation. Some people couldn't go with you, not because they were evil, but because they were too noisy for your next level. Gossip is noise. Grace is sound. And you can't hear divine instruction in the middle of chaos. So God silenced them so He could speak to you clearly. This is your word. You're not being ignored anymore. You're being introduced. Introduced to rooms that speak your name with honor, not mockery. Introduced to people who cover you in prayer, not conversation. Introduced to opportunities that don't require you to explain why you deserve them. God says, your name has become a password for blessings. Everywhere your name was once misused, I am now rewriting it in favor. The gossip that once closed doors is the very story I am now using to open them. You'll see people who once avoided you suddenly trying to reconnect. They'll say, we should catch up, but you'll feel the shift. You'll know it's not connection, it's conviction. Don't entertain every apology. Some people don't want forgiveness, they just want access. Be kind, but be cautious. You don't owe anyone entry into your peace. Child, remember this, you are the same person they once called too much, but heaven calls you my masterpiece. The same lips that cursed you are now dry, because they can't curse what God has crowned. Your name is now oil. Every time they try to touch it, it slips through their hands. You have been elevated silently, and that's why the shock is loud. They can't figure out when or how the shift happened. They just know you're no longer the same. Because while they were gossiping, you were growing. While they were mocking, you were mastering. While they were talking, you were transforming. And now heaven has turned the volume up. Every door they said was closed, open. Every plan they said would fail, flourishing. Every lie they spoke, exposed. Every doubt they planted, uprooted. Now they're quiet, because what can they say when God's evidence is undeniable? Their gossip met grace and lost. Type, I receive my reversal in the comments, if this word resonates, and make sure you've subscribed to Anointed Echo, because God's voice will keep finding you through these messages. Now listen carefully, because this last part carries divine strategy. God says, don't waste time proving your innocence, live your integrity. Your next move must be holy, not hurried. Don't use your platform for clapbacks, use it for calling. Don't use your blessings to prove people wrong, use them to point people to me. Because vindication without humility becomes vanity. And I didn't restore you for revenge, I restored you for revelation. You are walking evidence that faith outlasts falsehood. The same people who gossiped about you will one day quote you. They'll share your words, your videos, your testimony, without realizing they're promoting what they once persecuted. That's how God writes stories. He turns opposition into marketing. Your pain was the pitch. Your endurance was the proof. And now heaven has published your name in the realm of influence. You are rising not because of who you know, but because of who knows you. You are blessed not because of luck, but because of legacy. Every tear you cried was recorded. Every insult was noticed. Every misunderstanding was permitted, all to build this moment. Now stand tall, walk with quiet confidence. Because this peace isn't borrowed, it's bought with endurance, and this joy isn't cheap. It's forged through warfare. You have entered your public redemption era. Heaven has issued an announcement. Touch not my anointed, and do my prophet no harm. That's why everything meant to break you only built you stronger. Don't hide this glow. You are not being arrogant. You are being anointed. And the same mouths that once gossiped about you will soon whisper, "Surely God is with them." My child, you made it through the season of slander. Now prepare for the season of spotlight, not for fame but for faith, because this light isn't for attention, it's for testimony. And this is your divine closure. Those who spoke against you have no more words. Those who tried to compete have no more energy. Those who wished you failure now wish they had your favor. And those who doubted your calling now secretly study your consistency. Their silence is your vindication. Their confusion is your confirmation. Their regret is your reward. God says, keep walking. I will keep shocking them. Every new level will silence another rumor. Every answered prayer will cancel another lie. Every blessing will expose another deception. The gossipers are now witnesses. The haters are now historians. The liars are now learners. And you are the living proof that what's spoken in shadows can never stop what's written in heaven. Stay humble, stay prayerful, stay grounded, because the more you rise, the quieter they'll become. And the quieter they become, the clearer you'll hear my voice. This is not the end, this is the unveiling. Go in peace, child. The battle is over, the gossip is silenced, and grace has taken the mic. Now, before you leave, like this video, subscribe to Anointed Echo and comment blessed and ready if you receive this word deeply in your spirit. Because heaven is echoing your name in places your gossipers will never reach. You are not who they said you were. You are who I've always said you are: chosen, favored, untouchable. My beloved child, look at how far you've come. You didn't lose your voice in their noise. You didn't drown in their opinions. You learned how to walk through fire without smelling like smoke. And that's why heaven is celebrating you. Do you know why they can't find new things to gossip about? Because your elevation silenced the storyline. When grace rewrites your story, there's nothing left for people to invent. Your success erased their script. They sit in quiet disbelief now, wondering how the person they dismissed is still rising. They whisper, how did they survive that? They scroll through your posts, trying to decode your peace. But what they don't understand is this glow isn't from revenge, it's from release. You released what they said, you released what they did. You released who you thought they were, and now, peace has made a home where pain once lived. God says, I had to let them talk about you so I could prove myself through you. Because sometimes vindication doesn't come through arguments, it comes through evidence. And you, child, have become the evidence. You are living proof that gossip can't kill what God called. Don't scroll, this next part is divine strategy. You're about to step into a season where your presence will correct their perception. They won't need explanations. One look at you will be enough. Because your peace speaks louder than defense. Your consistency speaks louder than rumors. Your fruit speaks louder than gossip. This is what divine reversal looks like. The same environment that once misjudged you will soon celebrate you. The same circle that once excluded you will now try to include you. And the same people who used to compete will now compliment. But this time, from a distance. You don't have to chase any of it. Favor will do the talking, grace will do the gathering, and God will do the revealing. But be warned, when people see you rise, not everyone will clap. Some will watch silently, pretending not to care because they can't stand seeing the proof of what they denied. That's why this season requires discernment. Don't confuse spectators for supporters. Some are just trying to see if you'll stumble again, but you won't. Because the version of you they betrayed doesn't exist anymore. Type "I'm you untouchable by grace" in the comments if you feel that truth anchoring in your spirit. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to Anointed Echo because God is speaking through this channel straight into your life. Now listen, this is where heaven shifts your focus. You don't need to chase apologies. You don't need to fix false narratives. You don't even need to clear your name, because the name of the Lord is already defending you. Heaven has your reputation on its agenda. The same angels that protected you from their plots are now preparing you for your platform. They talked about you in small rooms, but you're about to be announced in big spaces. They mocked you in circles of gossip, but you're about to be invited into circles of influence. What they used to laugh at is now becoming a lesson they'll quote. They said, "You're wasting your time." But heaven says, "No, I was investing in your timing." They said, "Nobody's watching." But heaven says, "Everyone that matters is." They said, "You'll never be enough." But heaven says, "I made you more than enough." Let them talk, or rather let them try. Because their voices no longer have spiritual permission to touch your destiny. Every rumor has expired. Every lie has lost echo, and the reason they're silent now is because heaven revoked their influence. God says, "I silenced them not just to protect you but to promote you." Because some voices were too loud to let your anointing breathe. They were suffocating your potential with small-minded conversation. So I ended their access before they ended your focus. This is the kind of favor that doesn't announce itself. It just shows up and shocks everyone. They thought they were watching your ending, but they were witnessing your unveiling. They thought your story was over, but God was just turning the page. And when they see this next chapter, they won't believe it. Because it doesn't match the rumors. It doesn't match the assumptions. It doesn't match their version of you. That's how grace works. It confuses every false narrator. Beloved, do not be surprised when they start reaching out again. Some will disguise it as checking up on you. Some will come with flattery saying, "I always knew you'd make it." But your discernment will recognize it, the tone of guilt behind the compliment. You don't need their validation anymore. Their silence already said everything. Forgive them, not for them, for you. Because when you hold on to resentment, you give old conversations authority over your peace, and you've already outgrown that vibration. You are in a new spiritual frequency now, one where gossip can't reach and comparison can't survive. Your name no longer belongs in their mouth, it belongs in heaven's archives of victory. God says, "I've recorded every tear and translated every wound into wisdom." That's why you don't walk like before. You carry quiet authority now, a stillness that unsettles shallow people. Your spirit matured through mockery. Your character grew through conflict, and your power deepened through pain. Don't regret the gossip, it graduated you. Don't curse the rejection, it refined you. Don't mourn who left, they were never meant to finish the journey anyway. You are entering your evidence era. You don't need to prove that you changed, they will see it. You don't need to post your blessings, they will hear about them. Because what's coming next is not promotion, it's demonstration. God says, "I'm about to make an example out of you, not for punishment, but for purpose." An example of what happens when someone refuses to respond in flesh and chooses faith instead. An example that will inspire others to keep quiet when falsely accused, to stay pure when misrepresented, to pray when misunderstood. Your story is heaven's syllabus for endurance, your glow is heaven's certificate of resilience, and your peace is heaven's announcement of completion. Now breathe, child. The war is over. Your enemies are not your focus anymore, your destiny is. You've proven your heart, you've passed the test. You've survived the gossip and outlived the noise. Now it's time to live, to laugh freely again, to dream again without fear of judgment, to walk into rooms without the weight of old words, because what once defined you no longer describes you. You are brand new. They talked about who you were, not who you are. And that's why they're quiet now, because the person they targeted doesn't exist anymore. You've been reborn through grace, rebuilt through storms, and refined through silence. Heaven smiles over you now, saying, "Look at my child, they made it." The ones who gossip can't handle that sound. Because the same story they used to destroy your reputation has become the reason your name is blessed. You are not a rumor. You are a revelation. You are not what they said. You are what God wrote. Stay humble, but walk boldly. Stay quiet, but carry authority. And remember, their silence is not the end of conversation, it's the sound of heaven speaking louder. Like this video if you know this word was meant for you, comment blessed and ready to seal it in your spirit, and make sure you subscribe to Anointed Echo, because what God is doing in your life has only just begun. Beloved, before this message closes, hear this clearly. God says, I am not just restoring your peace, I am rebuilding your name. The same name they tried to stain is now being engraved in favor. The same voice they tried to silence is now echoing with authority. The same soul they tried to break is now walking in boldness. Heaven has flipped the script completely, and those who once said they'll never recover are now speechless as they watch you rise higher than they ever imagined. This is not coincidence, it's divine correction. Heaven has issued its public statement, touch not my chosen. They didn't know who they were talking about. They didn't realize that when they touched your name, they touched a covenant. That when they lied about you, they tangled with truth itself. And truth always wins. Now your stillness has become your sword. Your silence has become your sermon. And your peace has become your proof. God says, every table they tried to exclude you from, I am preparing a greater one in front of them. And when you sit there, you won't gloat. You'll glow. Because your glow will preach louder than any I told you so. Don't scroll. This next line is for your heart. I know you've cried quietly. I know the gossip broke something inside you that words can't fully describe. The betrayal came from people you would have defended, and it left scars you've tried to hide behind smiles. But God says, I saw it all. Every night you whispered, why me? He heard you. Every morning you forced yourself to act fine, He covered you. Every rumor that felt like a dagger, He pulled it out before it hit your spirit. You didn't lose anything real, you lost what was rotten, and now He's replacing it with divine connection, authentic love, and kingdom alignment. This is not payback, it's promotion. God didn't silence them to punish them. He silenced them to protect you from distraction. Because this next chapter requires undivided focus. No more noise, no more proving points, no more rehearsing pain. You have been refined for revelation. Your story is not gossip anymore, it's gospel. You are the message now. When people see you, they will see what grace looks like when it refuses to quit. You used to say, one day they'll understand me. That day is here, but it doesn't even matter anymore. Because when peace lives inside you, understanding from others becomes optional. The gossipers are confused now because you're not bitter, you're not clapping back. You're not trying to fix your image, you've outgrown the need to be right. Because you've realized, being blessed is being right. Let them keep wondering how you healed so fast. Let them stay quiet. Silence is their apology. The same way they gathered to discuss your downfall, they will soon gather to study your success. They will say, we talked about them, but they never changed, they just got stronger. Because heaven's fingerprints are all over you now. Beloved, your story is divine irony. The stone they threw became the stepping stone. The gossip they spread became the stage. The mockery they used became your momentum. And the shame they planned became your spotlight. This is what divine justice looks like. No courtroom, no confrontation, no explanation, just elevation. You didn't have to expose anyone because God exposed the truth by blessing you. So tonight, as you hear this word, release every name that still lingers in your spirit. Say this softly, I forgive them, I release them, I reclaim my peace. Because forgiveness is the language of freedom, and once you speak it, you step into total victory. Now bow your head for this prophetic prayer. Heavenly Father, For every word spoken against this listener, we cancel its authority in Jesus' name. For every lie whispered to destroy them, we declare divine reversal. For every tongue that rose in judgment, we silence it under heaven's decree. Lord, vindicate your child, not by vengeance, but by visible victory. Let their enemies become witnesses, let their wounds become wisdom, and let their story bring you glory. Father, surround them with peace so deep that gossip cannot enter. Open new doors that old conversations cannot close, and let every season of pain become a platform of power. Bless the hands that stayed clean, bless the mouth that stayed silent, bless the heart that refused to hate, and crown them with favor that no rumor can reach. In Jesus' mighty name, we seal this word. Amen. Now listen, child of light, your story is far from over. The people who gossiped about you are now witnesses to your prophecy. They are seeing with their own eyes what they tried to destroy, and while they are silenced in shock, heaven is still writing new chapters for you. You are not finished, you are just unveiled. You are not lucky, you are chosen. You are not forgotten, you are favored. And nothing anyone says will ever change what God has already confirmed. So go ahead, smile again, laugh again, dream again, because peace looks good on you. Grace fits you perfectly, and destiny is calling your name louder than gossip ever could. God says, your silence was never weakness, it was wisdom. And now that I've fought for you, I will also favor you publicly. Walk boldly into this new season. Your name is protected, your path is cleared, and your proof is undeniable. You are walking into your evidence era, where every lie told about you becomes the setup for your legacy. Now type this final declaration in the comments to seal this word. God has silenced my enemies, and I am blessed and ready. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Anointed Echo, and share this message with someone who needs to remember that God defends the silent and elevates the humble. Because the next time your name is mentioned, it won't be in gossip, it will be in gratitude. They'll say, we spoke against them, but God spoke louder. And that, my beloved, is the sound of heaven silencing your haters forever.